A serpent coiled into a perfect circle, devouring its own tail. It is a symbol older than written history, appearing in the sacred texts of Egypt, Greece, and India. It has been etched into temple walls, drawn in alchemical manuscripts, and whispered about in secret esoteric traditions. But what does it truly mean? Some say it represents eternity, an endless loop of creation and destruction. Others believe it holds the key to deep spiritual transformation. But the truth is far more profound. The Ouroboros is not just an ancient emblem, it is a living mystery, an initiation into the deepest secrets of existence itself. What if I told you that within this simple image lies the entire cycle of life, death, and rebirth, that it is a symbol of the universe itself, reflecting the hidden forces that shape reality? And more importantly, what if understanding it could unlock something within you, a path to self-discovery, inner alchemy, and enlightenment? In this video, we will uncover the real meaning of the Ouroboros. We will journey through the wisdom of the ancients, explore the hidden knowledge encoded in the symbol, and most importantly, reveal how you can apply its teachings to your own spiritual path. Stay with me, because what you are about to learn might just change how you see reality forever. The Ouroboros is among the oldest mystical symbols known to humanity, appearing across cultures and civilizations as a representation of life's greatest mysteries. But where did it originate, and why did so many ancient traditions hold it in such high regard? One of the earliest known depictions of the Ouroboros comes from ancient Egypt, where it appeared in the enigmatic Book of the Netherworld, a sacred text found in the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. The Egyptians saw it as a symbol of the cosmic order, the unending cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that governed all things. In their mythology, the great serpent Mehen coiled around the sun god Ra, protecting him during his nightly journey through the underworld, only for the sun to rise again each morning. But the symbol did not remain in Egypt. It traveled through time, finding its way into Greek and Roman philosophy. The philosopher Plato hinted at its meaning in his work Timaeus, where he described the universe as a self-sufficient living being, eternal and circular in nature. Later, the Stoics embraced the Ouroboros as a representation of the eternal recurrence, the idea that time and existence are cyclical, destined to repeat endlessly. Then came the alchemists. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance, the Ouroboros took on new meaning within esoteric and mystical traditions. The Swiss physician and alchemist Paracelsus spoke of it as a symbol of the great work, the process of spiritual and material transformation. Alchemists believed that just as the Ouroboros consumes itself, so too must the initiate undergo a process of inner dissolution and rebirth to reach enlightenment. The symbol also appears in Eastern traditions, particularly within Hinduism and Buddhism. The Naga, or divine serpent, is often depicted in circular form, representing the cycles of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that the soul must transcend. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Ouroboros is linked to the Kundalini, the serpent energy that, when awakened, rises through the chakras to bring spiritual enlightenment. Even in Norse mythology, the Ouroboros takes the form of Jormungandr, the great serpent that encircles the world and is destined to bring about Ragnarok, the end and rebirth of all things. Why does this symbol appear in so many different cultures? The answer is simple. The Ouroboros speaks to something universal, something deeply embedded in the fabric of existence. It is a symbol of the great paradox of life. It destroys and creates itself simultaneously. It is both the poison and the antidote, the beginning and the end. But this is only the foundation. To truly understand the Ouroboros, we must look deeper, beyond its historical presence and into its deeper spiritual meaning. Because the Ouroboros is not just a representation of cosmic cycles, it is also a mirror reflecting something hidden within you. Imagine standing at the edge of a great ocean, watching the waves rise and fall. Each wave seems separate, yet it is part of the same vast body of water. It is born, it rises, it crashes, and then it returns to the sea, only for another to take its place. This endless movement is the nature of existence itself, and this is the wisdom hidden within the Ouroboros. At its core, the Ouroboros represents the cyclical nature of reality, the infinite loop of birth, death, and rebirth. It is not just a symbol of time, but of transformation, of energy continually renewing itself. But this cycle does not only apply to the universe, it applies to you, to your thoughts, to your emotions, and to your spiritual journey. Think about how often life presents you with the same patterns, the same struggles, the same lessons, the same joys and pains. Have you ever felt like you're going in circles, encountering the same challenges in different forms? This is the Ouroboros in action, life repeating itself until the lesson is learned, until transformation transformation occurs. This is why alchemy, both as a physical and spiritual practice, was obsessed with the Ouroboros. The alchemists believed that, just like base metals must be transformed into gold, the soul must undergo an internal process of death and rebirth to reach enlightenment. This is the meaning of the Ouroboros devouring its own tail. It is the self consuming the self, the destruction of the old so that something new may emerge. But here is where the true secret of the Ouroboros is revealed. It does not simply symbolize repetition. It represents evolution through repetition. Each time the cycle turns, something is refined. Just as a snake sheds its skin, we too are meant to shed old versions of ourselves, releasing the past so that we can be reborn at a higher state of being. This is why the Ouroboros is not just a circle, it is a spiral. Though it may appear that we are repeating the same patterns, in reality, we are always moving forward. Growth is hidden within the cycle. The past does not return in exactly the same form, but as an echo, offering us a new opportunity to transform. So what does this mean for you? It means that struggle is not meaningless. It means that setbacks are not failures. It means that every challenge you face is an opportunity to rise to a new level of consciousness. But there is an even deeper mystery hidden within the Ouroboros. If it represents transformation, then what happens when the cycle is completed? What lies beyond the endless loop of death and rebirth? That is the question we will answer in Core Explanation Part 2. If the Ouroboros represents an endless cycle of birth, death, and renewal, then a profound question arises. Can the cycle be broken? Or better yet, can we rise above it? Throughout history, mystics and spiritual masters have spoken of liberation, the moment when one transcends the loop of suffering, karma, and illusion. The Ouroboros does not merely symbolize an eternal cycle. It also holds the key to breaking free from it. Look closely at the image of the serpent consuming its own tail. What happens when it fully devours itself? Does it disappear, or does it transform into something greater? This is where the deeper esoteric meaning of the Ouroboros is revealed. It is both the trap and the escape. The cycle of illusion. Many spiritual traditions teach that the physical world is an illusion, a maya, as the ancient Vedic texts call it. The cycle of life and death is merely a pattern that repeats as long as consciousness remains bound to it. But those who awaken can step outside the illusion. The Buddha spoke of this when he described samsara, the endless cycle of suffering caused by attachment and ignorance. Enlightenment or nirvana is not found within the cycle. It is found when one recognizes its nature and no longer clings to it. In the Hermetic tradition, the Ouroboros is a symbol of unity, the merging of opposites into a singular whole. The serpent's head and tail represent duality, life and death, creation and destruction, past and future. The moment it fully consumes itself, duality dissolves, revealing the infinite. This is why the Ouroboros is sometimes depicted as a black and white serpent, mirroring the yin and yang of Taoist philosophy. The inner Ouroboros, the path to transcendence. This is not just a cosmic process. It is deeply personal. You carry the Ouroboros within you. Consider this: how many times have you destroyed parts of yourself only to rebuild anew? The beliefs you once held, the fears you once carried, the identities you once clung to, where are they now? They have been consumed by the ever-evolving force of your own consciousness. But true transformation occurs when you consciously participate in this process. When you stop seeing life as something that happens to you and start recognizing yourself as the alchemist, the creator, the one who holds the power to transmute suffering into wisdom. The Ouroboros teaches self-mastery. Instead of being a prisoner of cycles, you become the one who shapes them. Instead of endlessly repeating old patterns, you learn to step outside of them. Instead of fearing death, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, you embrace it as a gateway to higher existence. Beyond the Ouroboros, the unbroken circle. The final mystery of the Ouroboros is this: it is not truly a serpent consuming itself. It is a gateway to something beyond form, beyond cycles, beyond time itself. When one fully understands the Ouroboros, they no longer see life as a prison of repetition. They see that the serpent was never separate from itself to begin with, that there was never truly a beginning or an end, only an unbroken unity. This is the realization of the mystic, the enlightened, the awakened. The Ouroboros is not just a symbol of cycles, it is a doorway to the infinite. But understanding this intellectually is not enough. True wisdom must be lived, experienced, embodied. So how can we apply the lessons of the Ouroboros to our daily lives? That is what we will explore in the next section: practical application. Symbols hold power not because they exist in books or ancient manuscripts, but because they reflect something within us. The Ouroboros is not just a concept. It is a living force that operates in your mind, body, and spirit. Understanding its meaning is only the first step. The real transformation comes when you embody its lessons. So how can you apply the wisdom of the Ouroboros in your daily life? 1. Recognizing and breaking repetitive patterns. The Ouroboros represents the cycle of repetition. The same lessons appearing again and again until they are mastered. Look at your own life. Do you keep attracting the same type of relationships? Do you find yourself facing similar struggles over and over? Do you react to situations in ways that no longer serve you? So you are caught in an inner Ouroboros. But awareness is the first step to transcendence. When you notice a pattern repeating, stop and ask, what is this teaching me? What do I need to release or transform? Am I acting from habit or from conscious choice? By recognizing your own cycles, you can begin to break them and evolve. 2. Practicing conscious self-destruction and rebirth. The Ouroboros devours itself, but it does so willingly. This is the path of self-mastery, the willingness to shed what no longer serves you. You can practice this through self-inquiry and detachment. Journaling. Write down the beliefs, fears, or attachments that hold you back. Ask yourself, if I were to let this go, who would I become? Meditation on impermanence. Sit in stillness and reflect on how everything you once identified with has changed. Your thoughts, emotions, even your body. Realize that transformation is natural and release resistance to change. Symbolic ritual. Write an old belief or fear on a piece of paper and burn it, visualizing yourself shedding your old self like a snake shedding its skin. 3. Using pain and struggle as fuel for transformation. Most people fear suffering. But the Ouroboros teaches that destruction and creation are one. Every challenge is an invitation to evolve. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this experience shape me into someone stronger? Pain, when consciously embraced, becomes a tool for transmutation, turning wounds into wisdom, obstacles into opportunities. 4. Practicing inner alchemy. Alchemists saw the Ouroboros as the secret to turning lead into gold, not just physical gold, but the gold of the spirit. This transformation happens through awareness and integration. When anger arises, do not suppress it, observe it, understand it, and transmute it into action or wisdom. When fear appears, do not run from it, face it, understand its root, and dissolve it with understanding. When the past haunts you, do not fight it, embrace it, learn from it, and allow it to complete its cycle. The Ouroboros teaches acceptance, transformation, and transcendence. You are always consuming and renewing yourself. The question is, are you doing it unconsciously or with full awareness? 5. Stepping beyond the cycle. The final lesson of the Ouroboros is that you are not the cycle, you are the awareness behind it. The moment you stop reacting blindly to patterns, they lose their power over you. The moment you stop clinging to old versions of yourself, you become free. The moment you see the Ouroboros for what it truly is, a reflection of the infinite, you step beyond its grasp. This is the path of the mystic, the initiate, the awakened. The Ouroboros is both the symbol of the prison and the key to escaping it. Which will it be for you? Now, let us bring everything together in the conclusion. The Ouroboros is more than just an ancient symbol. It is a map of existence itself. It reveals the hidden cycles that shape our lives, the eternal dance of destruction and creation, the endless flow of transformation. But it also holds a secret. The cycle is not a prison, it is a path. You now understand that the Ouroboros represents the repeating patterns in the universe, in nature, and within yourself. You have seen how it teaches the necessity of self-destruction and rebirth, how it invites you to become aware of your own cycles, and how it holds the key to transcending them. But the most important question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue repeating old patterns, trapped in the unconscious cycles of your past? Or will you take control of the Ouroboros within, mastering the art of transformation and rising beyond the illusion of repetition? The answer is in your hands. In the end, the Ouroboros does not consume you, you consume it. You decide whether it remains an endless loop or becomes a spiral of evolution. You decide whether it binds you or sets you free. If you have found wisdom in this message, let it not remain just an idea. Live it, embody it, become the Ouroboros reborn. And if this journey has awakened something within you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us continue unveiling the ancient mysteries together.